Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Rankers Creations and welcome to this live stream. Thank you very much for joining me. I do apologise for the late start. I just didn't quite allow myself enough time there. I looked at my watch and went, yeah, 5 minutes. It came down here, microphone was a little bit weird. It had sort of, something weird was going on with that. OBS was behaving weird. And so, yeah, I got an attack of the weirds and it took me a little bit longer to get set up than usual. So my apologies for that, for anyone who's sitting there waiting. It was not my intention. I am going to do my normal thing here and say hello to everyone. Well, first of all, obviously just checking to make sure that the sound and picture are okay. I mean, I can't do anything about this, but you know, just the audio and just the overall picture. I just want to check and make sure that everything is good. So, hello to, better be good. Hello to Jay from the House of Moth. I hope you are well. Thomas Armstrong, Dirty Rotten Max, Jim's Retro Stuff, Inkscube, Brendo, Luke F, KMac Vintage, and I assume that is Will at the other side of KMac Vintage. And Enzo Fitzhume, and I think that is all of the ones that are there at the moment. If you haven't jumped on and said hello, please do so now. This is going to be another kit building live stream. I don't know if people are enjoying watching them, but I'm certainly enjoying doing them. And this is actually like, here's one I prepared earlier. This is actually one of my favorite little pieces of kit in the toolkit there. So we're going to be making one of these. It'll be interesting to see if the other one that I've bought is identical in nature. And let me just do this. Too far? I haven't had a chance to test any of the cameras or anything like that. I normally do that before a live stream. This camera isn't even on. So if you'll excuse me for a minute, I'll just stand up here. I'll try not to show you my belly as I lift my arm up. And I shall switch this on. Here's the button. There we go. So there we have our top camera going. I did have a power outage. Just going to move the microphone here a little. I had a power outage the other night. There was a terrible storm and there was a blackout, and it literally lasted about 1 second. I was standing there at the stove doing some cooking. All the lights went out and everything went out. And I'm standing there and I had enough time to let out an extremely loud expletive, and then the power came back on again. But it was just enough to switch everything off. So yeah, that's how it goes. Going to go over a couple of things. Martin Anderson, hello there. First time catching one of your streams from Europe. I hate to think what the time is there. I'm imagining it's probably very late. Would I be correct in that assumption? I think it's like very, very late at night. This is one of the issues with the sort of the live streaming, trying to keep everyone happy. It's a little bit difficult with you know, sort of making so that my US viewers can watch and my Europe viewers can watch. Either way, someone's going to get their nose out of joint. I did a little post on the Facebooks the other day about this little 3D model that I have made. Unfortunately, the light's a little bit strong there, but this is, you can't really see it. Maybe if I change camera, I'll try a different camera. Let's try the top view, there we go. So this is a Quadra 700 replica at 1/3 scale. I still haven't finished the modeling at the back. That's going to happen. I've made the Apple actually a through thing so that you can see it, same as the 2 buttons there and little floppy drive there. And lid comes off. And something that someone asked me is this case large enough to stick a Raspberry Pi 4 in? Well, the answer is yes, it definitely is. I may even make it a little smaller. I don't want to make it too much smaller or we'll lose these lovely details, the little lines and stuff like that. Quadra 700 is one of my favourite Macintoshes, so I really want to try and preserve the look of the thing. The thing I really don't like about Raspberry Pi is they have connectors at the back and connectors at the side as well. I would love it if, and someone might make this, if someone made a thing that you could slot into the side like that, that made these connectors come onto the side here, and then I could have all the connectors coming out the back. The way this is, when I mount this, I'm going to have to stick the connectors, I guess I'll have to have them coming out the back and the top of the monitors and stuff will have to come out the top. That's a bit of... Dirty Rotten Max, hello there. Which part of Canada are you from? RAM holder just had slots into the hole. Jeremy here is here. Hello there, Jeremy. What's the replay on Sunday? So this is the first. And which part of Europe are you chatting from there, Martin? Just out of curiosity. Ontario, Canada for Dirty Rotten Max. Hello there. Okay, and oh, Steve's here. Hello there, Steve. Eep. So anyhow, I am just going to jump back here very quickly. I received a delivery today. Don't normally get deliveries on Saturdays, but because it's Christmas time, our postal service does Saturday deliveries to try and keep on top of things. And I got a delivery today of all the surface mount components for the Blue SCSI V2. So now I am just waiting for the boards and waiting for the Raspberry Pi Picos. The Picos should arrive next week with a bit of luck, and the boards next week if I'm really lucky, the week after if is a more realistic thing. And then I will be doing a video on building a Raspberry Pi internal version V2, the latest model. Well, I think it's the latest model. And I will be building it with all the surface mount components. So I'm referring to it as building it the hard way. And I'm really looking forward to that because I love surface mount soldering. Sweden. There you go. Well, Viking has joined us. Now, as I mentioned before, what I'm going to be building in this live stream is this here. And it is a... what does it say? I can't remember what the stream's called. GM328? G328? Something like that. It's in the description, but I can't see it at the moment. And this is a wonderful little component tester, and these are really, really handy. This allows you to test through-hole components, but it also allows you to test surface mount components, and I'll show you about that later on. It has a frequency generator at the top. It has, I think it has a frequency generator at the bottom as well. I'll have to find out about that. We'll have to read the instructions. And it will allow you to test resistors, capacitors, diodes, and transistors. And it's just super useful, and it's helped me out so many times. I've been in a situation where I've been working with a power supply or something, and you get a transistor and you do a little bit of a diode test, and you go, I think that may not be right. And you just pop it in this, press the button, boom, and you're like, bad component. Yeah. Okay, so this is the kit. This is how it arrived. So I haven't, I did just open it very quickly the other day, but I haven't really pulled anything out of it yet. Retro Techie is here. Hello there. It's my daughter's and my mum's birthday already in Australia. You know who else's birthday it is in Australia? Sean from Action Retro. So it's his birthday tomorrow in the northern hemisphere there, up there, but down here it's Sean's Action Retro's birthday, so we all have to make sure we wish him a merry Australian birthday. Okay, right, so I am going to change the view here to the top, and we're going to have a quick little inspection of this kit, how it has arrived, what's in it, all that sort of stuff. When I go to start building, I'll probably have to get up and adjust the cameras a little bit because I want to try and give you guys the best view possible. This, incidentally, is a Raspberry Pi version 4, just for anyone who's interested, seeing as I had it here before. Raspberry Pi version 4, and it's the one with 4 gigabytes of RAM, which should be ample for my purposes. I know there's an 8 gigabyte version, but for what I'm doing, I just don't think I'm going to need the 8 gigabytes. And what I will probably end up doing with this is... Well, I'm using it serious, sort of as a model for making this case, that's one. But the other thing I'm probably going to do with it is I'll probably end up running a Basilisk or something like that, run a OS emulator on it, OS 9 emulator. That will probably be what I do. I like doing that sort of stuff. Yeah, USB 3 on these now. How cool is that? These are just fantastic little things. Fantastic. Love them. All right, let's have a look and see what we have in the bear. Right, we have... Oh, is it written on this? Yeah, GM328. That was it, yes. Haha. How is everyone today? This is all the case stuff. I assume it's a clear case and it's just got protector on it. We will see. Oh god, it's going to be hard to get off. GM328. Oh, what? No, it's... Did I write 321 or 328? What? What? Put it this way. If I've written... I'm pretty sure it's GM328. Yeah, GM328. If there is reference made to GM321... that was a mistake. It is definitely a GM328. There are a few companies that, yeah, so it's just a protector on there. I'm not going to rip them all off now, it'll take forever. But that's all of our case bits. So we don't need those yet. We've got a little bit of work to do before we get to that stage. That's the rewarding part, that. I've got a 9-volt battery ready for this thing. That didn't come with the kit. I thought I probably did say 321 because I'm an idiot. Okay, so here is the main board. It is, what's kind of cool about it, I mean it sucks as well, but what's kind of cool about it is virtually everything is through-hole. There's only 3 surface mount components, and they didn't trust me to put them on. I wish they do. I love surface mount soldering, as you know. I wish they would just do these. I wish they would give you a version with surface mount, an option to do the surface mount soldering. But anyhow, it's not too bad. And then here's all the bits. Let's take out all the bits. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at all the bits. And there's a little screen. There's a little battery connector. This is our zero insertion force thingy. I don't know, what do you call these things? I know it's a ZIF socket. ZIF socket. There you go. How about that? So there's our ZIF socket, which is going to go right here. There we go. Now, in terms of, and there's our main, I assume that's our main brains of the outfit, the CPU. What we have going on here is what I don't think that screw goes with it, and I'll bring it together anyway. Got ourselves a lovely little crystal oscillator in here as well. A little standoff, not sure what that's for here, but anyhow. Little header thingy. Now, this is absolutely void of any documentation whatsoever. I think you can probably find 328 documentation on the interwebs, GM328 documentation on the interwebs, but RTB, hello there. But there is nothing here other than what is on the board. So it's all screen printed on here. So the measurements of the resistors and whatnot. I'm going to need my special glasses for this. I'm going to put those on now because I can't see shit without them. I mean, that's not true. I can't see up close without them. So I used to be able to see so well up close. It's interesting that they just call this a transistor tester when in actual fact it tests lots of other things as well. Oh, it looks like my microscope camera's not on at the moment. Don't think I'll be needing it for this build. I think I'll probably end up just building this here with this camera pointing, but I'll move that camera once I actually get this in place. So we've got all of these little measurements along here. So we're going to have to find the resistors and put them in. Now I generally have, I hope I don't scare you off, but I have a video about my component tester totally messing up while measuring Darlingtons. Well, let's hope this one doesn't. So, yeah. I have been pretty happy with my one. It's been really good, actually. So, well, I think we're going to have to start building it. I generally, when I'm building these things, I start with resistors first. Probably because they're the most annoying. Because in this day and age where they can print things like, you know, microscopically small, they're still using the color coding. And I just sort of feel like if you can print tiny weeny letters on a surface mount capacitor, why the hell can't you print tiny weeny letters on a resistor? But anyhow, that's another story. I am going to grab my Wheats KM601 digital multimeter. It is not just any old multimeter, it's a smart multimeter. Beautiful big screen. Look at this beautiful, beautiful big screen. Look at it. Look at that. And I'm going to use this to find my resistors because there is a lazy streak in me that stops me from wanting to look up the color. Oh, that was interesting. Be careful where you leave your keyboards, folks, because the next thing you know, you put something on it and you end up with a video coming up. Sorry about that. Glitch in the matrix. So yeah, as I was saying, I am going to probably just test a lot of these resistors with the multimeter to find out their sizes. I can, of course, go and look them up. I am, as I've said before several times, a very lazy person. So one of the things that I do is I use this app called Resistor Toolkit, which I believe is still available for iOS. If it's not, that's... oh, God, where is it? Don't tell me it's disappeared. Toolkit. There it is. Toolkit. And this... oh, back to the top here. This, it allows you to, like if you've got a 5-band resistor, you can just select what the colours are and it'll tell you what it is. So I'm going to grab one here and we'll use it as an example. This one here is... oh, God, I hate the way these bands work. This one is red, red, black, brown, brown. 2.2K. Let's test that. Micro Major Repair could use your help being convinced to start doing live streams. Well, Micro Major Repair, hello there. Thank you for joining, by the way. Give me the backstory here, Jay. What's this? You want Micro Major Repair to do some live streams? Is that what you're saying? There we go. 2.1. Oh, God, it's not on camera. So this is meant to be a 2.2. This is showing me 2.158 kiloohms. So I think we can fairly safely say this is a 2.2. How many of them am I supposed to have? A bill of materials would be handy on this. 2K2, there we are. When you're working with some of these measurements, what they'll often do is instead of using a decimal point, so instead of going 2.2K, they'll use the K as the decimal point. So they go 2K2. So I can see on this board here, we've got a 2K2. That tells me that is the 2.2 kiloohms. I'm just going to see if there are any others there, because if there are, I'll hunt them down at the same time, seeing as I've got the color code committed to memory, like a steel trap up here. Equivalent series resistance, you see? I can remember. Anyone who's been watching my channel long enough to know the backstory behind equivalent series resistance. I want him to live stream. He does not want to. Well, one thing I will say, Apple's Anonymous, hello there. Your hopeless question. So, first of all, one thing we do need to say about Jay is Jay likes watching live streams of certain subjects. Not any sort of live stream, but he does have requests, and he badges me to live stream a lot. The multimeter matches my shirt. It does, yes. Thank you to Kai Wheats for sending me this shirt. It's a nice little Christmas present I got from them. They also sent me a couple of other little neat things, but, you know, I always welcome a shirt, especially one that fits my fat belly. Okay. Okay, and where are we? We've got here Micro Hobbyist, hello there. And who else? There's Johnny Death. See schematics with 3KR5. Yes. So what did I want to say? So yes, one thing I would say about live streams, sorry about bumping the microphone. One of the things I will say about live streams is if you are a YouTuber, there are two things about live streams which are good. Well, three really. One is, of course, engagement with your viewers. It gives you an opportunity to have the chat open there and say things and, get to know people and all that sort of stuff. And it also means that you can do tutorial type stuff. So if you're doing some work, and oh God, did I just lose a component? Well, we'll find out soon enough. If you are teaching something, if you're training teaching someone how to do something, doing training, it can be really handy to do that in a live stream so that people can then ask questions while you're doing it and you can give them live responses. So live streams are great for that. That's number one. The other thing for live streams is it's content, and YouTube is one of these crazy animals where they want to see you continually adding content. And if you go through a period of time where you don't add any content, you can kind of fall off the radar a little bit with YouTube. So a live stream is a very quick and easy way to add some content to your channel. So that's another reason why I do them. You know, if I, in particular at the moment, I've got lots and lots of pre-recorded videos on the go, but I don't have any one ready to release yet. And so doing something like this enables me to keep some regular content coming out without, you know, all of the effort of videoing, recording, sound, editing, all that sort of stuff. Making YouTube videos is a very time-consuming process if you want them to be of good quality. Then the other thing is, and this is something that I would recommend for anyone just starting a YouTube channel, a live stream is a great way of getting view hours up. If you are someone who is just starting a channel and you are wanting to get the hours up potentially to be monetized or something like that, if you run the, you know, regular live streams and you know, try and get all your friends and family to have them going and, you know, contact them, hey, I'm doing a live stream, watch it. You can clock up quite a few hours, in particular if you're doing lengthy live streams. So that's what I would say for people who are starting out and trying to get the viewer hours up. Live streams are good for that as well. So anyhow, I'm going to go through and read this and just check out the constant badgering that Jay does. He's seriously ready. Bought an Atlas ESR tester thanks to you. Ah, cool, excellent. My ESR tester is rubbish, but it still works. I bought another thing recently and I've barely used it. I got busy studying Arduino after your last video. I can't believe it snuck past me. Arduino is fantastic stuff because you can get up and running with it so quickly, and there are so many things available for it. I mean, you can get, you know, things that detect humidity, water content, temperature, barometric pressure. You can rig them up to Wi-Fi. You can use them as garage door openers. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful stuff. So yeah, and of course, there are so many programming examples out there that even if you're not a particularly good coder, if you're thinking, oh, I want to know how to do this, you can usually find some code out there that someone's written that will do something similar that you may then only have to tweak a little bit here and there in order to get it to do what you want. So it's a really good thing getting into coding as well. So, I think, yeah, oh, come on. All right, okay, well, I'm going to keep going with this because at the moment I'm not making much progress. I will probably get my board holder because I think as I work on this it will help. I've got my air conditioner going at the moment. If there's noise in the background, I do apologise. It is muggy as all hell here at the moment. It's only 24 degrees Celsius. I know it says 22 there, but that's in the city and I'm out west. Sydney is a big place. Whoops. And so I am probably going to use this little holder that you see here, and it's quite a nifty little thing to have because you can just flip things around nice and easily. I bought this one, I'm pretty sure I bought this one from my local electronics retailer Jaycar, but you'll find these on Amazon and, you know, everywhere. They're around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably bring this close to me like that, make a slight little camera adjustment to the top here. Oh, that'll do. And then I'll go adjust this camera over here as well, so that I can give you the best possible view while I'm building this. Okie dokie. Well, okay. I think that's all right. We'll see what you think. Because when I start working on this, I have to put my head over top of it, like this, and no one wants to see that. So that's when I will switch to side view, like that. And we have our first component in there. So I'm going to solder that in, quick smart. Galloway Lights. Does YouTube pay for live chat watch hours? YouTube doesn't really pay for any hours. YouTube only pays for ads. So it all really comes down to how many ads have been shown. I don't know how it works for people who pay for YouTube. But, you know, basically the way it works is YouTube run ads through it. And it sort of comes down to, there are two things. First of all, whether an advertiser wants to advertise on your channel. So if you're just starting out, you're probably not going to get big advertisers on your channel because they're going to be like, no, I don't really, you know, sort of want to pay for that. They're more likely to go with larger channels. Yeah, so that's sort of really what it comes down to. The longer you have a video running, the more chance I guess you've got of ads being put in the middle of it. And so then you're probably going to get more from that. Okay, we're about to do our very first solder. My tip is looking a little bit ugly because I haven't been out here since last week. And we do one nice little there and one nice little there. Okay, one down, 400 million to go. I am going to try and speed it up, okay? So we've all got things to do, places to be. Okay, where's my snips? This is the problem I have when I'm wearing these glasses. It does impair my my other vision, as in my not close vision. Now they can't be far because I was using them just recently, unless they have fallen off the table, which happens rather a lot. Or I could have put them away where they're supposed to actually be. Weird things happen sometimes. Right. So, there we go. Now these little pads that you see here, these are for surface mount components. So when you're testing them, you can actually push the component down onto that, like a little SOT23, like a diode or something. You can push it down on that, and then you can press the test button. Right, let's work. I'm going to separate all the resistors here. That seems like the logical thing to do. Top view. Resistor, resistor, resistor. Resistor, resistor. Oh, yep, resistor. Resistor. Resistor, resistor. Resistor. Quite a few, aren't there? Yeah. And there. And there. For anyone who missed any of my previous live streams or potentially missed any of my follow-up video or anything like that, I did build my Bluetooth speakers in my last kit building thing, and I did break them while I was building them, but they are fixed now and working, so just letting everyone know that. I think that's all the resistors. I think that's all the resistors. There we go. So there's all the resistors. Look at them all. Gosh. Right. Okay. There's a lot. Let's start getting through them because we want to try and speed this up. Hello. Hello, Mega. Hello. How are you? If it's any consolation, people who do speak like that in Australia, we generally do make fun of them here as well. So it's if US people or people from other countries are making fun of the way Australians say hello, the ones that really do that hello, yeah, we make fun of them too. All right. These two look like they might be the same. I think they're the same. We'll check. Get the old multimeter out and test them out. We've got, that is 3.2K. That is also 3.2K. So we're looking for well, actually, there's a 3K3 here, so let's just look that up. on the R toolkit. Let's go to, I assume it's meant to be 3.3 and it's just testing a little low. Orange, orange, black, brown, brown. Orange, orange, black, brown, brown. Yep. So this is 3.3K. Silencio. That was my multimeter telling me it wants to switch off. 3.3K. Got one going there. Beep, beep. And we've got one going here. Like this. Yes, we don't want to see my head. That, well, no, actually, the ones that, well, it depends. It really does depend on, there are some subtleties to this to the Australian accent, but the ones that really do the in particular, they do the hello, you know, the on the end, hello. They're usually the posh ones that live by the water. Are you know? I am going out to dinner tonight with an old Mac friend, someone, a guest that used to be on the Mac Yak show back in the olden days, Madeline. She's in Sydney at the moment. I will also be catching up with Adrian. I don't know if you guys, what's that guy's name? Luke Miami. He did a video in Australia recently looking at a very, very large collection of Macs. I don't know if anyone saw that video, but he was looking at, you know, what is thought to be probably the largest boxed collection of vintage Macs in the world. And that's Adrian. I'm catching up with him tonight as well. Ah, oh, look at this one sticking up. Can't have that. Got standards to abide by. Yeah, that's the one, Luke Miami. Sorry. There's a little bit of an in-joke that I have with some of my Mac Yak friends where we come up with different names for him. But did anyone see that video? I'm just curious if anyone saw that video of him checking out that collection in Australia. Just checking my mic here. Can you use your other tester to identify your resistors? Bloody hell, that's a good idea. The Fix of 69, hello there. I am very well and I hope you are the same. Feeling good because it is Saturday here. I've got a few little things I want to try and get done today, including this live stream, and then I'm going out to dinner tonight, so it's a good thing. Right, so let's pick up a resistor here, and we'll do exactly what Dirty Rotten Max said, and we'll use this one to test it. $476K. 476K. That's a big one. I am going to look at the color codes. It's probably just meant to be 470K would be my guess. It is... What color is that? Is it yellow? Yellow? I can't see that. Is it a purple? No. Black? Orange? No. That's not right. That is... Oh, hang on. Yes, it is. 470K. That's exactly what I said, wasn't it? So this is a 470K. Yellow. Okay, 470k. We're going to see if we've got any more of these here. That looks like it might be one. Because we've got the yellow. The other ones don't have the yellow. I keep doing that till you get sick of it. Okay, 3. It looks like we've got 3 470s. So let's have a look on the board here for 470s. We've got one there. Oh, actually, they're all 3 together. I can see them. One there. I haven't fed my chickens this morning, so they're getting a bit noisy. I'll feed them when I'm finished. I mean, they have food there, but they want the special stuff. Yay! And quite by accident, I even managed to get them all around the same way. So I'm feeling good about that. Love to look around that yeah, I actually had an opportunity to see that warehouse, and I will get an opportunity again. At the end of the day, it's only about probably 2-hour drive for me to get there. But I had something else on. Like there was an event over that way, and I had an opportunity to go and check it out. But I had something else on, unfortunately. But I am going to make an effort to get out there again sometime soon. Oh, it's my head again. Sorry. Side view. I'm getting this sort of semi-regular flicker going on. I assume it's broadcasting that way as well. I expect it's probably related to the cameras. I have so many cameras plugged in. It's just flickering every now and again. I have so many cameras plugged into this thing. Let's see if we can see the chooks. Hey, there we go. There's one. We can see 2 chooks there. We can see one down the bottom right-hand corner, the black one. I think that's the noisy one. That's the big Australorp. There's a white one up on the top there on the coop, and then the blind one at the right-hand side there. So, back to side view, everyone. I hope everyone's had their chicken fix now. I had one come in and visit me just as the stream was starting, and I thought I might be able to just grab her and show her to everyone, but she disappeared just before the stream actually went live. Carthor, hello there. Have learned much from your videos. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that. Obsidian Zenon, hello there. So I plan to stick 2 strips of copper on a smooth board. I can clip a meter to and just slide resistors across it to quickly sort the scattered. Quickly sort the scattered. You've seen the flickering, yeah, okay. That's a bugger, isn't it? What I usually have to do to resolve that is restart the computer, but I'm not going to do that now. Let's hope it just calms down. Alright, let's get another resistor. I'm going to just grab this in, do the thing, and put it in my component tester, like thusly, and pousser les boutons. $10K. Okay. So once again, do the cross check with the resistor toolkit because I really want to make sure this works first go. 10K. And that says it should be brown, black, black, red, brown, which it is. Brown, black, black, red, brown. All right, let's see how many of these we have. I noticed different variations. Yeah, there are. The one you want to look out for is the one that looks like this. The other one's not as good, basically. And it's the one that has the little push-turn wheel. I think the other one has a slightly different setup. This one is like this wheel here that you have here, this wheel. It's a pushy functiony button, but it's also a rotatey button. So, yeah, This is the one. This is the one you want. It is better than the other one. What did I say? It was 10K. It was 10K, wasn't it? Yeah. And it was brown, red, black, black, brown. Is that brown? Brown, red, black, black, brown. I think there's 2 more of them. Oh, there. I think there are lots of them. Let's have a look. 10K, 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 10K. So I think it's like 6 at least. I really do struggle with these. Some of these, when they're so small that when I look at them, I think, are you red? Are you brown? Are you purple? So I'm sure that's got some purple in it, that one. Nope, that's red. Brown, red, black, black, brown. Yep. I think I should have one more. Looking. I think it might be this one. The printing's a bit rough. Can't tell. The colours actually come off this one, so I can't really tell. So I'm gonna measure. I think that said 10. No, that's 220. So away with you. I think that might be it. Crap, don't you fall down. There'll be hell to pay. Yep, that's a 10. Crap. W would be better for this. That's what I said, Obolesky. That's what I said. And the particular thing is there are quite a lot of people in the world that are colourblind and everything, and that we know they can print tiny little things. I mean, you see the little letters on diodes and stuff like that, and I'm just like, can't you just put the numbers on these, please? All right. I have got 6 10Ks. I might need more, but 6 is what I counted before, so that's what we're going to do. We'll just see what happens at the end. It'll be a lot easier once we start removing some of them. Oh, well, yeah, you wouldn't need a microscope to read the values, but I'll be honest, I need a microscope to see the freaking colours on these things. I mean, I suspect that the colour bands contribute to the very low cost of resistors. But look at it this way. Surface mount resistors, think of how small they are, and they have the code printed on them, except when they get really, really small. But if you're thinking like, you know, these sorts of things, these sorts of resistors, these are 0805, look how small they are, and they've got a code written on them. I would like the same thing for through-hole resistors, as simple as that. It's not asking too much. Uh, 10K, 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 there's one. one there as well. Let's hope that's it for the 10Ks. Boo-doo-boo. Did anyone happen to watch, what's his name, Dave's Vintage Apple Tech live stream where they built the Bluetooth speaker? I didn't see it. He streams at a time which is not particularly suitable for me in this part of the world. Micro Hobbyist, you were there. So did they all manage to successfully build them? And its interesting thing is that the build part is actually nothing to do with the MP or the speaker itself. It is the what do you call it, the little what's the word for flashing lights when sound happens? There's a word for that. I can't think of what it is though. Most of us did. That's the sound of bottles going into a garbage bin, in case you heard that. And the garbage bin is empty, which is why it made so much noise. Okay. Right, I think that's all of them. Just make sure I got them all nice and flush. There was some variation in the kits. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. I have seen a couple of different versions of that on Amazon, because I've actually been looking for a lot of kits for these live streams. I've got quite a few on the way. I should have a few more arrive next week. One of them is... Oh, God, I didn't change the view again. Sorry, folks. I was staring at my head. One of them is an oscilloscope. So that's coming. And another one is a little gaming console, like a little Tetris thing. Apparently there's like 3 games in it. It's got little buttons to spin the things around. So it's like a Tetris thing with LED lights for all the little squares. And I looked at it, I thought, that looks fun. I mean, that looks really fun. So I've ordered that. So that should arrive next week. And then I've got a couple of other silly ones. So there's other kits coming up soon. I don't know if anyone actually watches these and then decides to build one of these, but I can tell you that if you do any sort of electronics work, you should have one of these. They're fantastic. Right. Now, I'm going to grab this one because it's sticking out at me because it's orange. And it's 2 orange, black, red, brown. 2 orange, black, red, brown. Orange, orange, black, red, brown. Should be 33K. We tested with the Kaiweets KM601. Links in the description if you're looking for an inexpensive and powerful multimeter. Yep, that's our 33. Let's see if there are any more. Makes sense to do them all at one time. 33, 33. No, I think there's only one 33 as far as I can tell. Yep. Lead solder or lead free? I use leaded solder. I prefer the way it goes. Oh, look, I've got some lead free solder and I have used it and I haven't really had any issues with it. I will say that. But I do prefer the lower melting point of leaded solder. I like, when I'm soldering, one of the things I like about it is kind of predicting how the solder is going to behave. And when I'm using leaded solder, I feel like I can better predict what it's going to do. And that just makes soldering easier, in my opinion. I'm not using any flux for this sort of soldering. I tend not to use flux for through-hole soldering. I think flux is essential for surface mount soldering, but for through hole, you know, it's you've got the flux in the core of the solder, and that does a pretty good job, you know, because you're actually, you know, you're melting it, and so you're getting the use of the flux while it's actually melting. If I were to get this solder and melt it onto my iron, the flux burns away and then very quickly becomes useless. So it's got that's why it's sort of not as good for surface mount soldering. I prefer lead solder have some with 2% silver. I'm just using what's it called? What's it called? I can't see it. Kester. And the Kester I've got is, I think it's 63:37. So that's the ratio of tin and lead. I should be wearing gloves when I'm doing this, I know, but I will wash my hands afterwards. All right, we're getting through these resistors, by the way, so anyone who's sort of thinking, oh my God, we're never going to be through these resistors, we are. So I'm going to just grab another one here. Not that one. I'm going to grab another one with orange in it. Big orange. I grabbed myself a big orange. Great big orange drink. No, I can't make out those colours at all. They could be anything. So I'm going to use the multimeter. 180K? Just check that. 180. That should be okay. That's a grey, is it? Brown. That's a grey. Okay. Brown, grey, black, orange, brown. Okay. Yep. Let's see how many of those we're supposed to have. 180. I think there's only one of those. I was looking at that before. It's up here. Would people like me to zoom in closer from the top view? Because I can do that. I can zoom in very, very close from the top view if you want that. It could get a little bit disturbing if you see my head then though creep into camera, because it could all just be all of a sudden like, different temperatures for through hole and so forth. Do you no? I actually use the same temperature for everything, and I'm not trying to say that that's what everyone should do, because the whole thing with soldering is you kind of have to just get it to work the way you want it, and I work in a kind of a weird way where I have everything with the temperature up really high, full crank, and if I'm working with delicate components, I just do it really quickly, so they're not exposed to the heat for too long. And yeah, so I'm full tilt with I'm on 450C on this thing. Now, I don't think it gets all the way up to 450C. It's probably more like 430 or something like that. But yeah, that's what I do. But it's not necessarily for everyone. Got another one here with orange. This one is brown, orange, black, black, brown. I should just leave the phone out of my pocket, shouldn't I? Brown, orange, black, black, brown. That says it should be 130 ohms. 130 ohms. Got a 130 here? It seems all of these have been quite high. I would be very surprised if this is 130. I might be reading them in the wrong direction. That's another thing that drives me bonkers about the colour. You can read it from two different directions. So let's try it the other way around. Brown, black, black, orange, brown. Yeah, 100K. So you read it from the opposite direction, you get a completely different size. That is just stupid. Stupid. Kai, hello there. What time it is in your neck of the woods? Okay. 1:30 a.m. Goodness me. And how are all your health woes at the moment. 100k. Right, oops. I hope things are... Well, I hope they're going to get dealt with, I suppose. So that one, what did I say it was? 100k? That's what I said, wasn't it? 100k? 100k, yep. So let's have a look. There's 100k. I think we only have one of those. So let's pop that on there. Just saw a flicker. Here we go. Being fast-tracked. Well, that's got to be a good thing. I mean, one would hope that those most in need are the ones that are seen to first. Call with my brother in Toronto. Ah, nice. Fitted with a pacemaker. That's intense. Well, let's hope that that puts you in a better situation. I'm going to go with these ones next because there's a lovely blue colour. Blue, I think it's blue-grey. Blue-grey. Black. 680 ohms. Yes, well, I know that there are 3 680s here, so I will test it just to be sure because, you know, measure twice, cut once. God, stay still. Yep, 680. So let's grab that one. There should be 3 of those. They'll be easy to find because that blue is just beautiful. Here we are. Got 3 of them. We're going to have these around the right way as well because I got these all matching. I can't be in a situation where I don't get these ones matching. Boop, boop, boop. A little closer. Okay. We will go to the top view very quickly and we will just zoom some. Oh, too far. There we go. Isn't that good? There we go. So now we've got a little alternating yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black. I mean blue. Blue, yeah, it starts with a B as well, but it is very different. Yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue. That's the Parramatta Eels colour for any Australians who might be rugby league fans. Soldering. This is definitely the slowest part we're doing at the moment. We're tackling the slowest part first. So after this, the build should come together quite quickly. There we go. Look at that. Isn't it nice? It's beautiful. Ah, dear. Has anyone here seen the movie The Creator? I'd just be interested to know what other people thought of it. I have seen it. And... let's grab it on a resistor and just see what colour this one is. Okay, red, brown, red, brown, black, violet, brown. That's not it. That is not it. That is definitely not it. Brown. No, hang on. Brown. No, red. Hang on, I started reading it one way and halfway through changed to the other side. Okay, so red, violet, black, red, brown. 27K. That's more like it. Do we have a 27K here? Call in 27K. 27K. Anywhere? There we go. There's two 27s by the looks of it. Just there. Double checking with our Kaiweets KM601 digital multimeter. I don't think any of these are going to be gold. I think these are all going to be brown. Yep, 27. So let's see if we can find the second 27 on the remaining resistor. Shouldn't be hard because it has violet in it. Yep, that's the two. Looking good. I am getting a try out. I will do a video of this coming up soon. I'm getting a little tester kit of the first sort of do-it-yourself, build-yourself Zulu SCSI. For those in the world who may or may not be aware, we have Blue SCSI and we have Zulu SCSI. And the way it has typically been is the Blue SCSI has been a build it yourself and the Zulu SCSI has been buy it off the shelf, already assembled. But Zulu SCSI have released an open source version of the product where you can buy it as a kit, and I am getting that hopefully tonight. I'll have to double check that. But what I am happy about is because the person who makes Zulu SCSI knows me, he left all the surface mount stuff off, so I get to do the whole thing. So I'm happy about that. Right, we're down to only just 4 resistors left. Isn't that good? I feel like we've earned an opportunity to do something else after this. This one is I watched the video of the Box Mac Museum and I kept thinking of all the leaky caps and exploding batteries. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. PowerBook Edition Blue SCSI V2 with Wi-Fi. My 180's hard disk actually works, but I figured solid state is better. Yeah. So I'm just going to run a quick little history here. Sorry for people that aren't vintage Mac people out there, but if you are a vintage Mac person, they use SCSI hard drives. Apple was one of the big companies that adopted SCSI hard drives. They had a lot of benefits at the time, but they were more expensive because they were a little bit rarer as well. Now these days, if you're wanting to get a replacement hard drive for like an old PC, you can go out and you can buy these little enclosures that will replicate like a ATA or an IDE drive, and you could stick an SD card in them, or you could put in a SSD sled in them, and they're as cheap as chips. You can just buy those cases for next to nothing, but it's not the same in the Mac world because they're a rarer product. And the only product that was available initially was a product called SCSI 2SD, which was invented by a guy called Michael McMaster, who lives here in Australia. And he made the very first SCSI 2SD and made it all open source and all that sort of stuff. And then eventually he then sort of commercialized it. But the last version of the SCSI 2SD that he made as open source was, I think it was version 4. And and all of that stuff is still available. And so basically what I used to do is I used to just get boards made by, you know, PCB Way. They were like 50 cents each for me to get the boards. I could get 10 boards for $5, and then just buy all the components and assemble them myself. And there was the PowerBook version, and there was the internal version. So I've only got one Mac that uses SCSI, one laptop that uses SCSI inside, and that's the PowerBook 540C, one of my favourite vintage laptops out there. And I've just got a SCSI 2SD version 4 sitting in that I built myself, hand built. I can't really build them anymore, unfortunately, because there is a particular component that just doesn't seem to be made anymore, and it's the main brains of the thing. If they do, I'll probably make more because I enjoy making them. Do leaky caps explode when no one is looking? That's a good point. That is a good point. Right, let's see what size resistor this is. This looks like brown, brown, black, black, brown. Brown, brown, black, black, brown. But of course it could be the other way around because it's brown at both ends. Brown, brown, black, 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 brown. 110 ohms. Am I supposed to have a 110? Mueller? Mueller? Nope. Don't think I am. So let's try it from the other direction. Brown, black, black. Brown, brown. 1K. It's pretty stupid, isn't it? Don't you reckon it's pretty stupid? That I can read these colour bands from one direction and get one result, and from the other direction get a different result. There's no difference in the spacing of the bands, so it's not like there's some sort of key as to which way around it should be. Take out my fury! $1,000 ohms. Paul Byerly, don't worry about it. I have just been killing time until you got here. So you've missed all the boring stuff of me just trying to find resistors with the right color code with my rather poorly eyes. So one of these has the bands. I mentioned this one before. One of these has the color bands very, very hard to read because they've actually come away a bit. And I think this one might be our second 1K. But we'll know that in uno momento. Just give me a second here. Oh, that says 219 ohms. Unless something's gone wrong here. So this must be a 220. So I guess this isn't it. God, I didn't just grab it and go, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's a 220 ohm. Okay, excuse me just a minute. I need to send a message. Sorry, folks. Right, so that's that one, that's this one. Recap my flat screen TV on YouTube. No more black screen, yay! I actually, I had a monitor that I got hold of that I thought was going to be like really good for using with my vintage Macs. It turned out it's not. But anyhow, I got it and it just didn't work. And I thought, oh, we'll see what it's like inside. Open it up. You know, no diagnostics work whatsoever. Just open it up and just see all of these capacitors all puffed up at the top. So I had replacements for all of them. So I just brought it down here, whipped out all the old caps, put new ones on. Boom, away she goes, working perfectly. It's great when you can do that, you know. Did I just pick up exactly the same one I put down again? No, this looks more like it. This looks like it. Yep, that's it. So we've got two 1000 ohm resistors. They're going to go right here. And I am going to even put them in the same way around so that we don't mess up the OCD, folks. You might look at this and go, oh, they're facing different directions. Can't be having that. Still have a 14-inch Apple CRT in my boot bin in there the last 18 months as ballast. Need some TLC when I find space for it. Yeah. CRTs are one of the things that I really don't have that many of. I have 3 CRTs. I have the original Macintosh high-res display that came with the very first Mac 2, and the reason why I have that one is so that because I had, Mac 2 was the very first Mac I bought with my own money, and my original setup was the Mac 2 with the original Macintosh 13-inch Macintosh, they call it like Macintosh high-res display or Macintosh RG display or something like that. Has no stand or anything like that, it's just a brick. And so I have that one, and that I have for nostalgic reasons, and it means that when I put that together, that computer together, it looks all original. It looks like the photos from the time. And then the other one I have is I have one of the little 12-inch ones that came out with the LCs, and I like that because they're just a beautiful fit on the LC. When you put the LC down and you plug that monitor on top, they almost look like one unit. And the other one I have is the 13-inch one with the swivel stand of the same era. So with the LCs, you could get the little 12-inch display, or you could get the 13-inch display. So, yeah, they're the 3 CRTs I have, and I'm not getting any more. They're just too bloody big. Got nowhere to put them. Hello, chicken. Send the Q950 board to you and get the 2FX board back. Yes! Yes, the 2FX board, which is working beautifully now. It was... some things were loose. I think that was the main problem with it. There were some connectors like some solder joints that had sort of cracked and it wasn't sitting properly. And so, yeah, it's going. It is a going thing. And definitely need to get that back to you. I have a 2FX board which I worked on some live streams, but it is it's really badly damaged from battery, and I still haven't been able to get it working. Now this one here, let's test this one. $20K? $20K. That's good, because we need a 20K. It's right here. Yeah, actually, look, I said it at the time, but I will say it again. Thank you so much, Kai, for your help with the 2CI stream that I did before. I actually, this is, I guess, the difference between the way I do things and the way proper, technicians and stuff do things. As soon as you said that it could be the oscilloscope, it could be the oscillator, I probably wouldn't have even bothered getting the oscilloscope out. I would have just swapped over the oscillator and see how it went. I know that's real sort of cowboy repairs, but, we proved it with the oscilloscope. It took forever for me to get that thing working properly because of some button that I bumped by accident, but at least I know how to get it back to normal now. But it was just wonderful to have a situation where you go, hey, this thing is definitely not working. We've proved that with the oscilloscope. Swap it over and bing, she works. It's wonderfully rewarding. And this, I believe, is our last resistor. And this one, if I can find its spot. Bueller. Come on. Oh, there it is. 220. That's what we said before. That was the one that I measured over here. So if you're wondering why I'm saying measure funny, there's a video, there we go, yep, 218. There was a video that I watched when I was just beginning to get into 3D printing. And I ordered my 3D printer, and I wanted to make sure that I was prepared when it arrived, that I knew enough so that I could just get up and running straight away. So when I ordered my very first 3D printer, which is an Ender 3 V2, while I was waiting for it to be delivered, I watched video after video after video on calibration, assembly, problems, solutions, all that sort of stuff. So that by the time it arrived, I felt like I was, I had a pretty good idea. In particular, I watched all these videos on how to build an Ender 3 V2 when it arrives. So when it arrived, I was sort of like, I had all these little tips and tricks and stuff that was great. But anyhow, one of the videos I watched was a guy going in and explaining calibrations of a 3D printer, and he pronounced the word measure as measure. American accent, obviously. And I found that really bizarre. I don't know if it's a particular dialect somewhere in the US where people do pronounce measure as measure. But ever since, when I say measure nowadays, I tend to say measure. 3D printing something huge in sections right now. Imperial Star Destroyer, even at 75%, it's filling the build plate. Goodness me, what printer have you got? Is it like a K1 Max or something like that? How big's your build plate, Guy? Any iMac G3s, Bruce? I saw that MacFX have just started a Kickstarter for new internal G3 bezels. Well, there's broken ones, people. Yes, I did know that. That's actually something that's been in the pipeline for a while. I got like a bit of a tip off on that from Adrian, who's the president of the Australian Computer Museum. So he is the Australian part of MacFX. So if you go onto the MacFX website and you look at the staff and you scroll down, you'll find Adrian's in there. And he told me a long time ago that was one of the things they had planned, but they had a lot of, I think, problems along the way. In particular, I think they had an immaculate one. They sent it over to China to use as the model, and I think it got lost in transit or something like that. But anyhow, it's great to see that that's now happening. I only have one iMac, and it's a iMac Snow. Once again, because of space, I don't have many things with CRTs in them, other than compact Macs like the little Mac Pluses. I've got gazillions of them. I got classics coming out of my ears, classics and classic 2s. But anyhow, I have one iMac G3 and it's a Snow, and it works. I think one of the speakers is a bit dicky. I mean, it needs a little bit of TLC. I think the CD-ROM drive needs some help as well, and I'll get onto it one day. But it does work. But I just don't get the same level of nostalgia from the G3 iMacs as I do from the old Beigeos. I love the G4 iMac, the lampshade one. I'm a big fan of those. I just read the schematic. Yes, I hadn't got to that bit yet. I had planned to get the schematic out and read it, but I hadn't got there yet when the new turned up, and you saved me from having to do it, so I appreciate that, Kai. Okay, Creality CR10S Pro V2 300 by 300 by 400. Yeah, that's big. 300 is a good size. Unfortunately, my build plate is too small to do a Mandalorian helmet because I have a very large head. I've got a project at the moment where I'm going to have to actually do it in parts because my build plate's just not big enough. Right, let's start having a look at some other components here. I'm going to move this out of the way for a tick. We'll go back to our top view and we'll see what we have left here. Yep. We've accumulated some parts along the way from other things, I think, but we'll be able to figure it all out. I think the next thing I'll probably look at here are these. Now these must be tantalum caps because they've got a little dot, which means that they are polarized. Oh, or maybe they don't have a dot. This one doesn't have a dot. No, maybe they're not. They might just be ceramic. I don't, I'm just going to pop this in here, and we'll see what we will see. Test. Yeah, filament extruder, I've seen them. It's very appealing. But, okay, so this little here is showing me it's not polarized. See those little flat things side by side? It's showing me that it's not a polarized capacitor. So it's probably just a ceramic. You'd managed to get a 27-inch iMac working though, which was nice. Yeah, the 27s just don't come up much. The big problem with the 27s is as they get older, the arm doesn't stay up. But yeah, I love them. If you're talking about the G4 ones, or are you talking about the later ones, like the Intel ones, 27-inch iMac? Because did they do a 27-inch G4, or they did a big one? They did one with a big screen. I can't remember what size it was though. 24-inch? I don't know. Okay. I'm going to set up the resin 3D printer that Mark from Mark Fixer Stuff donated to me. Cool. Yes, this is one of the things that happens when you start doing 3D stuff on your YouTube channel. People send you 3D printers. I've discovered that. G4 went to 20-inch, yeah. So the 20-inch, I've never been able to come across a 20-inch of the G4. I've only had one of the small ones. Yeah, so the 27-inch was Intel. Are you talking about a one of the ones where the screen's held on by magnets, or is it one of the ones where it's glued in? All right. So now, when it comes to these sorts of capacitors, these do have a number printed on them, unlike resistors. This is 103, which tells me it's 10 with 3 zeros coming after that, which is 10,000 picofarads, which is going to be what, 1 or 0.1? Is it 0.1 or 1 microfarad? I can't remember. I'm not going to need to worry about it because the code's actually on here. So, actually, let's do this the clever way. Cancel that. Let's do this the clever way. And we'll take all of these capacitors out first. So, I can't see. I've got the wrong glasses for this. Definitely feel like we're making progress. Definitely. Oopsie. I have an eMac as well. I hate eMacs, but I have the eMac because it's one that came with the swivel stand. And I thought, oh, I've never had one with a swivel stand before. The chunky one with the glass held in with magnets. Yep, no worries. Because they sort of have gone through a few different stages. So the initial stage was when the glass is curved on the edges and sits into sort of like an inset part of the screen. And they're like 2007, 8, 9, I think, something like that. And then I think around about 2010-ish, something like that. This is just off the top of my head, so give me some rope. And then the next one was where the glass is rounded at the top but flat at the bottom, and it actually goes right to the edge of the top, and that's held on with magnets as well. And then the next one is one where the glass covers the whole front face and is actually glued onto it, and the screen is glued onto the glass. So when that glass breaks, you're pretty much stuffed. I mean, you can do it, but it's a hell of a job to replace that glass. 2011 pre-thin bonded glass. I hated eMacs when they came out. Kind of like the look of them now. They are far too heavy and bulky. Agreed. They're a bit of a pain from a collector's perspective. That's why I only have one. I have one just so that I know I've got one. They were big and bulky at the time. Beautiful display on the thing. Lovely, bright, contrasty, sharp display. Flat screen. But, geez, they were a pain to lug around. But, of course, they were designed for the education department. So, you know... Okay, 2-2. Choo-choo. Choo-choo. There's a choo-choo. I'll just do a little bit of lady bendy. And this one is 103. See, this is great. They're just the numbers are written on the screen printing for that match the numbers on here. So it's easy. I know it's these ones with the capacitor is like it's showing that it's a non-polarized one. So that makes life easier. 102, 22, 104, 104, 104. Where is my 103? 104, 104. There's lots of 104s. There it is. Lady Bendy. Lots of 104s. Here's a 104. You get a 104. You get a 104. This one's a proper kit, you know. The last one I did I felt was a little bit of a nothing kit. And the reason why I felt like it was a bit of a nothing kit was because it was just a little light display that I was building. I wasn't building anything else really. This one we're really building a proper 102. Another 104. Doesn't look like they've provided any spare parts in this, which is fine as long as we don't lose any or they have missed one or something like that. 104. There we go. So much easier to do these capacitors with the numbers written on them. So much easier. Alright. You would normally get one, but this one came for £50 as a deal, and it was the run-out model, the very last one, 1.42 gigahertz G4, the Radeon 9600, 2 gigabyte RAM, and 160 gigabyte drive in it. Cool. What's your view on autodidacts, self-educated versus people who are formally trained? That's a very good question. One of the things that I would say is that whatever formal training that you get, there is no substitute for on-the-job training. You can learn everything there possibly is to know about something, but you won't really be fully educated on something until you've actually gone and experienced it yourself. And for that reason, I would say that people who have been doing something, potentially professionally, for some years, will often be just as good as someone who hasn't had the professional training at something. Not saying everything, because they have been learning all that sort of stuff as they go. There's a you know, when it comes to like education, certainly in this country, there's a thing called RPL, or recognition of prior learning, and that is that, let's just say I was to go and try and get a degree in something. They would take into account the fact that I have been working doing certain things for many, many years, and for that reason, they would, you know, I would be able to sort of get fast-tracked because they recognise that I have learned a lot of stuff on the job. I don't have any formal training at all. And there are times when I wish I did, because I know when I look at some things, you know, particularly in programming side of things, I see some people programming stuff and I think, oh, yeah, see, I wouldn't do it that way because I haven't been trained in the same way that you have. Because I'm self-taught, I approach this in a very different way to the way you do. Is it right or wrong? It's a matter of opinion, I suppose. But I am someone of the opinion that we should never stop learning. So we shouldn't just be thinking about, oh, you know, I went to high school, I went to university or college or whatever, and that was my education, and now I'm educated and I move on. I basically consider that every day is a learning experience, and you should be learning new stuff constantly. You know, I have had so many times where I've been hit with a project that I know nothing about, and it freaks me out, and you're like, oh God, I don't know what I'm going to do this here, I don't know how I'm going to do this there, and then you learn it, and then you get to the end of it and you think, I don't know what I was worried about. I just had to learn it. So yeah, I mean, I just think education is ongoing. It should be ongoing for everyone. People should be continually pushing themselves and learning new things. I don't know if I answered your question or not. Is capping not recapping? This is very true. I mean, if you want, I'll take one of these out and put it back in again, and then we can say that I did some recapping. When what I'm doing with these is I'm soldering one pin, and then I'm just pushing up from underneath, just to make sure it's nice and snug while I melt one side, and then let that cool and harden, and then I just solder the other side. And that way, I know they're all going to be pretty flush. I'll try and bend these and get them looking fairly consistent. This one here is a little bit wonky. I'll see if I can unwonky it. No, it'll do. Airline pilot for big commercial airlines and train flight instructor. After COVID, he dropped that. Yeah, I know this guy who is also a commercial airline pilot, and of course during COVID, just stopped. And the guy ended up, I think he was driving trucks during COVID. Said he was really enjoying it. I mean, he went back to being a pilot afterwards, but you know, people adapt. Yeah, I mean, there are times when I wish I had become like an electrical engineer or something like that. There's just no way it was going to happen with me. I had a lot of demons during high school, and it just was not an option really for me to stick around. It just was not sort of, I was not in the right headspace, and I left school when I was quite young, and I got a job. I literally went from school to a job. I finished school on the Friday and started a full-time job on the Monday, and I loved full-time work. I loved it. I hated school, despised it, but I don't hate learning. You know, as I've said, I mean, I've continued to. I mean, there was one day when this is years ago, but there was one day where I was like writing something and I had no idea where the apostrophes were supposed to go. Couldn't remember any of that stuff from early high school. And I said, that's wrong. This is the language that I speak and write. I need to know this. So I went out and I bought books on grammar and punctuation and taught myself all of that stuff to make sure that when I write, because I write stuff a lot. And, I write stuff to do with my work, proposals and stuff like that, and then I write scripts for the YouTube channel. I've had to write instruction manuals for software I've made, and I'm just like, I want to make sure it's all right. And so I went and sort of learned all that stuff after school, and able to learn it in my own terms and all that sort of stuff, and there's a desire to learn it, so it sinks in. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing full-time work. I mean, my first job I had was working in a shop as a sales assistant, and even though I don't consider that much of a stepping stone from a career perspective, having frontline experience dealing with customers, I think, is a really good thing to have. I think everyone should do at least a little bit of that work in their lifetime, because it's good for many ways. It makes it easier to sort of walk up and approach someone. When you watch someone work in a shop for the first time, you can sort of see the hesitation about going up to someone and saying, "Hey, would you like some help? Can I help you there?" And sort of when something like that becomes second nature, it's actually quite handy in life. It also gives you a greater appreciation for people that you come in contact with, and you're more likely to be nice to them rather than being rude to them. But then after that, I got a job doing some programming. That company went broke. And then the next job, I was like a pre-press pre-press design house, and I worked there for years and learned lots and lots and lots of stuff about Macs and about just computers in general. And then I got into multimedia development, and I got into web development, and I got into software development, and yeah, so yeah. But anyhow, all self-taught. Go out and buy books on things. These days I watch YouTube videos on it, but back then I used to buy books on things. I'm teaching myself how to use Onshape, which is a parametric 3D editor, a 3D modeler. I've been using a different 3D modeling software, but it's a mesh-based one, and this one is a parametric one. And yeah, I'm really enjoying that software. What are we going to put in next? Let's pick something. I'm going to just pick something random, because at this stage we've got so few components, we can just put whatever in. I've got a crystal oscillator. This one is 8. Is that 8 hertz or 8 megahertz? I assume it's 8 megahertz. There we go. So there we go. Pop that in. I know who Loretta Swit is. You didn't need to tell me who she was. I can tell you that if they ever give out degrees for knowledge of the television show MASH, I would probably be able to get one very, very easily. I have watched every episode of MASH multiple times. Alright, we've got a little electrolytic capacitor here. This is a 10 microfarad 25 volt. That goes here, and they have the little marking on there for the negative side, which is the stripe on this. So we pop that there. I still keep a lot of those books that I taught myself stuff. I've got one which is like learning PHP and MySQL. And I've got one which is like learning 3D modeling, photorealistic 3D modeling. An interesting story with the website of things. So I had been building websites just for fun myself. And I would do all the graphics and stuff and set it up in tables. And my websites look really good for the time. Keep in mind, most people only had 13-inch screens back then. And I was building all these websites, and then someone contacted the company I was working for and said they needed a website built. And so the boss said, look, do you think you can build a website? I'm like, yeah. There was one thing this website needed to do that I had never done before, and that was to be able to store information. So the websites I'd all built were just like, just click on this and go to that page, click on this and go to that page. Nothing ever brought information across from one page to the next. That was the turning point. And this company had said that they needed to set a website up where that actually kept an inventory on there, so that you could go to a page and see all these things listed, and then you would be able to add or remove things from that. Pretty basic stuff, but at the time I didn't know how to do that. And so I then went and got a book on PHP and MySQL, because I did some research on what would be the best one to go with. And at the time, everyone was saying PHP is the way to go, because it was free, for one, and also because it was used on probably 90% of websites back at the time. I sort of learned that. And interestingly enough, it was a website that was meant to be an inventory of different purebred dog semen. So there you go, wouldn't read about it. Just checking up on the chat here, I've been using. Radar was my favourite, yeah. He didn't stick around to the end, but he was the only actor that was in the series who was also in the original movie that the series was based on. 2 out of 3 students within the first semester. My goodness, electrical engineering. That is insane. All right, okay, we're going to move on now, and we are moving on to transistors. Now, I'm going to have to read this little tiny writing for this. This says S9014. S9014. 9014, there we go. I love it when you just find what you're looking for. Here we go, in you go. 3 little holes. Oh, it holds in quite well. I don't need to do anything with that. Let's get the next one. Next little transistor. This is another 9014. There's a 9012 there. Here's another 9014. The screen printing shows me which way to put this on. It's got a little bulgy bit at the back, so I know that the bulgy bit needs to line up with that bulgy bit. This is a 7550. There we are. 7550. Mm-hmm. 9012. We're getting very close here, people, so for people who are just hanging around to wait and see this thing working, I think we're pretty close. Oh, that's little writing. TL431. Yep. Oh, why they changed the position of the pins on that one? I have to bend it. Fit. Oh, God, that's around the wrong way. Be careful. People are watching. Don't mess it up. Like I did last time and the time before. I haven't really had much luck with, you know, just away we go with the kits. I think part of it has to do with distraction. Oh, there's another capacitor here. Put that in as well. This one is also a 10 microfarad. Where's, oh, there he is. He's right there. When I'm doing these, of course, I'm checking the chat and all that sort of stuff, and so I do get distracted. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I think that's one of the reasons why I really stuffed up on that last one that I built, the Bluetooth speaker. I was looking at the board upside down and plugged the wrong plug into the wrong plug hole. These are little. Sorry about my fat hand in the way. Not much I can really do about it. I mean, other than having a camera in a different position, which I might set up one day. I sort of feel like having a camera, like just up here somewhere, looking down that way, would work quite well. Actually, if I had mounted a camera on the top of the microscope, I could move it around. That'd probably work. It's a little bit tight around here, not a lot of room to move. We're doing it. Right, let's check. Yep, I think we're all good. It's really coming along, isn't it? Pins, pins, pins. It's good. Right. Okay, what have we got left here? Oh, I've got an LED, light emitting diode. And these do have to go around the right way because they are a diode, which means they only allow flow in one direction. This one's nice and easy because this is one of these diodes that has a flat side, and this lines up with the flat side on the screen printing. So I can just plonk him straight down there without even needing to worry about what does what. So you have a, oh come on, with the diode you have a cathode and an anode. And one of the leads is long and one of the leads is short, and I can't remember which one is which, but I don't have to remember. I can just look that stuff up anytime I want. If you, oops, extract the spare part from the prototype. What? Late to the party as usual, hate when work gets in the way. So do I. I'd love to just be able to do this sort of stuff all the time. Op Amps for Everyone by Ron Mancini in the mail today. I can't say I know that. Right. Now, we've got a little plug here. I'm probably not going to use this, but this is so that you can power it off, you know, a DC power supply if you want to. I'm going to probably just be running this primarily off battery. But we'll put it on anyway, because why not? That's a rhetorical question. You don't actually have to answer. Why not? Now, this is one where I don't particularly want to bend the pins, but it's going to fall out, and I've only got two hands. So what I sometimes do with this is I'll get the solder like this, and I'll hold it in position like that. And then I'll just hold, with the other hand, just melt the solder, and that's melted onto there, and I can, I've at least got one pin that's going to hold the component in place while I do the others. Whee! That's soldered on there. And then we've got these little pluggy things. These are all three are the same. They all just have to be facing outwards. One there, and one there. I'm going to have to swivel the board. Oh, pancakes with ice cream and chocolate sauce. Far out. I haven't eaten today. I am very, very hungry. I'm going to smash some lunch. Don't know what I'm going to have, but I'm going to have to do these one at a time. I'm going to do the same trick with this. Spin it around. Hold the solder in place near it. And then melt. That way I'm getting the flux melting, so it helps it flow nice and easily. If I were to try and put the solder onto my iron tip and then transfer it to the pin, it never works particularly well. So doing it that way means I can do it with one hand and still get that nice flowage. That one goes there. This, what oscilloscope kit you're going to build, I'd like to get one ahead of time. I will do that. I will put that into the description of this one, because I say I've already ordered it. It hasn't arrived yet. Oh, this is freaking crooked. Can't be having that. But I will absolutely do that. I will put that, what I'll do is I'll add to the description of this video, and I'll say, the next kit I will be building, it may not be the next kit that I build, but I'll say, I'll actually list the next two kits that I'll be building. How about that? Because I've got two coming at the same time, and they're probably going to arrive next week. And I think I'm not sure I will do the oscilloscope next. That one looks straight. Please tell me those holes are in different positions. Yeah, they are. I'm slightly because they're not lined up, but I don't think they're lined up on the PCB. How much heat-proof fingers? My fingers are pretty tolerant to heat. My wife will tell you that. But you know, when I'm sort of cooking things, and she'll be like, "Ah, that's too hot," I just pick it up. But yeah, I still definitely feel the pain. All right, so we've got this little header that needs to go on. And that is going to be for this screen, which is going to sit on top like that. Bam, 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 bam. So let's solder that on. I'm going to have to do the same little trick with the solder for this one. Just get one hole soldered first. There we go. And of course I need to make sure it's nice and flush. So it wants to be straight up and down. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. I don't think you can see the soldering here because it's getting blocked. Maybe I should spin this sucker around again. Actually, before I spin it around, I'll put this switcheroonie on because he needs to be, you know, holding it thing. Oh, well, that solder didn't stick. There we go, that's stuck on now. So I'm just going to make sure this is all nice and flush. And he is. So these are a really cool switch, these ones there, because they're not just like a variable resistor turning the dial. They're actually like a clicky turn, so you can actually use them as a selector. So you turn the dial, and that like makes a menu go up and down, and then you press the button in, and that makes your selection from the menu. Very nifty stuff. So it's almost like two buttons, an up button, a down button, and a select button, which of course it's a way of working that we are familiar with. Anyone who owned one of the very first sort of digital watches will be very familiar with up, down, select. We've all been trained to understand up, down, select. Right. Okay, sorry about all the flickering, folks. Right, now I've got to finish soldering in this little guy here. Looking good. And then I'm going to put in the socket, which is here somewhere. It's stuck into it. Here. Speaking of books and electronics books. I have a book which I must confess I haven't finished reading yet. I'm probably about halfway through it, and it's called How to Fix Absolutely Everything, or something like that. And it basically just goes through all kind of rudimentary electronics concepts to help you diagnose and repair just about anything. Don't get much time to read books these days, I can tell you that. So this is the socket going in. I have put it around the right way, but even if I hadn't, it wouldn't matter as long as I put the chip in the right way. It's the screen printing on the board has a little notch out of it, and the socket has a notch on one side too, and so you just have to make sure the notches line up. And same with the chip itself, that will also have a notch. This is a DIP, it's a dual inline package. Here's the chip that's going in here. Something you don't see as much of these days, because obviously it's much cheaper from a manufacturing perspective to use surface mount stuff rather than through hole. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. So it's a 28 pin dip. This is the chip here, and as you can see it does have a little notch in one side, and that there is pin 1 there. And you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 28. That's the direction that you go around with these chips. Right, that's done. All we've got now to solder in is our ZIF socket. Oh, actually no, I've got my battery leads at terminals as well. So let's get this in place. It goes on there like that. Gonna do the old one-hand soldery thingy. Where's the flux? Is your fume extractor on? No flux needed for the through-hole stuff. Fume extractor, no. Probably would have made sense to put it on, you know, like right at the beginning. But I do have a tendency to forget that. On the bright side, I am in a very, very open room, and I do have an air conditioner blowing on me from the side, so it is probably helping dissipate some of those fumes. But I would recommend to everyone, use a fume extractor, even a cheap one, or if you don't have a fume extractor, just get a fan blowing on you sideways or something like that, just to keep those fumes out of your face. Safety, safety, safety. I'm soldering the zero insertion force ZIF socket. You'll find these sorts of ZIF sockets on EEPROM programmers and stuff like that, where you can just drop your chip in there, clip it down, and then do your programming. I've done some of that. Not a whole lot, but I have definitely done some EEPROM programming in my time. I do actually want to get a bit of a production line going to produce ROMs for Mac 2CIs, Mac Classics and Mac Classic 2, and you know, sort of have those available for doing all the repairs I do. Right, well that is pretty much the assembly. I've got to connect up my battery terminal lead thing. So that my little wires are going to go up in here, up there. Oops. I asked this before, but I missed any answers. I asked before, has anyone in the chat seen the movie The Creator? I did ask that before, and someone probably did answer it, but I missed it. I was too busy doing stuff. So I'm going to check now. Has anyone in the chat seen the movie The Creator? Just curious. There's no right or wrong answer. Yes, interesting movie. Yep, cool. I have also seen it, and I thought it was an interesting movie. But I'm just curious about other people's opinions on it. I'm melting the shielding off this wire, the plastic shielding. I should be working a little bit faster, but you know, I'm not. Okay, that's my power wires connected. I'm a metal fan. I'm a huge metal fan. Have been for decades. All right, here we go. We're getting close now. I'm going to put the chip on. I'm going to put the screen on, and then we're going to test it. We're going to test it out. So the chip, that's just attached to a spongy thing. Here we go. And we've got a little notch on that side, so a notch on that side. Let's go for probably a top view for this one. I'm going to have to bend these pins in a little bit, they're too far up. Fingers crossed it works. I'm feeling pretty confident. I don't know where that confidence comes from, but, you know, it's good to have confidence, even if it's unwarranted. I've got the sort of confidence where I can just go into, like, American Idol and just start singing and just, you know, belting out tunes, and then they say you're not a very good singer, and I go, all of my friends told me I am. You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm a great singer. Don't you love it when that happens? When someone who's just totally delusional goes on that show? I love that. It's my favourite part of those shows. My mum says I'm a great singer. Okay. Who knew this was going to be the hardest part? Getting this bloody chip in the socket. It's like the socket's a little bit too small, but anyhow, it's in there. Right. Screen goes on. Oh, I've got to put the foots on first. I've got some footsies here. Need to have a foot there and a foot there. Sorry, big fat head in the way again. And now my big fat head is in the way in like a little square. There we go. Alright, just finger tight for the moment. Hello, little white chicken. What you doing in here? Really? I won't be able to show her to you. She is very, very flighty. I can't get anywhere near her. Chickens are funny things. I do like chickens. Screwdriver. Screwdriver. There it is. Dunning-Kruger effect. I know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is. What were you referring to with the Dunning-Kruger effect? So the Dunning-Kruger effect is the way the dumber people are, the smarter they think they are. It's this weird thing that happens, and it basically comes around because people who aren't smart enough to understand something fully, think they understand it in a more simplified way. So they think they get it. So you might ask someone about the economy or something, and someone might say, oh, I can fix all our problems, they just need to print more money. Whereas not actually realising that's a stupid thing, because that doesn't work. And so, yeah, the Dunning-Kruger effect is this sort of weird effect that happens with people who aren't very smart, think they are smart. And I know a lot of people, well, not a lot, I know some people who are definite Dunning-Kruger candidates. All right, so there's a screen. We'll leave the screen protector on for now because I've still got a little bit of things to do. Little bit of things. All right, so we need to find something to test, assuming it's going to work. I've got a resistor here. I hope that wasn't supposed to go on this. I didn't even check to see if there are any gaps. What do you reckon about this one? I don't think there are any gaps. No. This has a thicker wire, so this is probably from something else. Alright, so I'm going to put the little knobby thingy on. Came with a little knobby thing. There we go, to go on the pushy button thing. And then we get a battery. Here we go. This one is a brand new 9-volter Energizer Max. Okay, I've given it some power. Now we're going to try and switch it on. I'm not going to put any component in it yet. We'll just see what happens. Battery 9.3 volt. Testing. No unknown or damaged part. Isn't that cool? So cool. Okay, let's put a component in it. Not calibrated. For calibration, clamp the 3 pins together and start with the key. Acknowledge the self-test with the key within 2 seconds. Disconnect pins after the message isolate probe is shown. Software and documentation. Oh, look at this online documentation. So, I have to short them all together, I think. I think that's what it's telling me I need to do. So I'm going to put... There are 3 connectors here. There's the first 3 on the left side of the ZIF are 1. Then you've got 2 in the middle, and then you've got the 3 on the end are 3. So... I think this is what I'm supposed to do. I mean, if I'm not, I'm going to look an idiot. But I think it's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so at this stage, I think I am... Yeah, you get in. I am short... Alright, I think I'm shorting everything together now. See what happens. No. Switch off. Switch off. Okay. Press the button again. Self-test mode. Did I calibrate it? Who knows? Isolate probes. Isn't that what I'm supposed to be doing? Or do I take them out after isolate probes? I don't remember doing this with the first one, but I probably did. So now we're going to test it, see if it's going to let us test it. Okay. Well, it's having a good old think about something now. Probably should read the manual. Just saying. Okay. So let's get this resistor and we'll pop him in there and see if he is reasonably close to what we're supposed to be. Not calibrate. For calibration, clamp the 3 pins together and start with the key. Start with the key. Acknowledge a self-test with the key within 2 seconds. Disconnect pins after the message isolate probe is shown. I did that. Software and documentation is at SVN microcontroller net transistor. What's SVN stand for? Does anyone know what that means? So we're going to try this again. I mean, maybe. I'm just gonna see if see if I can get it to test something. Knows it's a resistor. It's saying it's 22.28 kilo ohms. Let's see how that compares to my Kaiweets KM601 digital multimeter. Oops. Links in the description if you want to buy one of these multimeters. Yep. 22k. So that seems to be reading pretty well. I like that. It's nice. It's pretty good. With low cloudiness and 16 in Melbourne with constant rain for the whole day. Yeah, it's actually 26 where I am at the moment. We'll hop at 27, and it is as cloudy and overcast as you could possibly imagine. I mean, there is no sun in the sky. Thank you for that, Enzo. Right, so, well, I mean, I think all in all, it's pretty good. I mean, we can assemble the case and put it all together. How long have I been going for? 2 hours and 13 minutes. Gosh. Well, we'll see if we can just put this case together real quick. Again, no instructions, so let's hope. I'll zoom out a little bit. Get my other glasses on. Francois. So it would, for me, it would be bonjour. For you, I suspect it's bonsoir, but I'm not sure. It's 4 AM now, so that's not really night time, is it? So it's probably bonjour. Bonjour. Yeah. You can tell that my French is very, very poor, lacking. I know a few words. I haven't been to France. Long time ago, but I have been to France. Stayed in Paris, as well as travelling around to quite a few other parts of the country as well. Very, very beautiful. I went and saw the, what's it called? Mont Saint-Michel, I think. It's the big churchy thing on an island. Is that the one? That was something else. Yep. Wasn't the original design for those component testers stolen? I don't know. But if you have a scoop, happy to hear it. I'm taking all of the protective coating off these pieces of PVC. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad I didn't cut my nails. I will cut them after this, but I'm glad I didn't cut them before it. I don't bite my nails, so, and they grow really fast. And that can sometimes be a good thing, but you know, I'm forever just like, oh my God, look at my nails, look how long they are, I need to cut them. Zero degrees C and it snowed all day. That doesn't sound very pleasant at all, unless you're someone who likes cold weather and snow, in which case it's probably pretty good. We're getting there. A little thin piece here. I don't need instructions for this because I have an assembled one already. I can just follow it. We're going to look at the assembled one and know how it's supposed to go. Zip. So I've got a question for people out here. Anyone here who is a Mac person, who has some Mac experience, I want to ask a theoretical question. We have Apple Silicon Macs. I'm using one right now. The one I'm live streaming on is an M1 Mac Mini. It's been great. I used to have a little Intel Mac Mini down here, and it really used to tax the CPU when I used to do these live streams. This one here barely breaks a sweat. So, it's a great zippy little Mac. Very happy with it. Now, Apple Silicon, of course, one of the things they've done is they've abandoned the x86 architecture and have gone for ARM-based architecture, which, of course, is RISC-style things. So, here's my question. To any Mac techs out here, people, clever Mac people, do you think it would be theoretically possible to use something like OpenCore? Not me, of course, I'm not smart enough, but someone out there with lots of brains. Do you think someone out there with something like OpenCore could get Mac OS running on a Raspberry Pi? I've never heard of it being done, but I just sort of think now that they're both using ARM architecture, I would have thought it might now become theoretically possible. But I've just not heard of anyone doing it, and it'd be so cool. All right. Now this, has it got a hole for a battery? No, no hole for a battery. So the whole thing has to come apart if you want to put a battery in there. See, I cut a hole in mine for putting a battery in. But I'll worry about that later on. So we've got, first of all, we need to mount the thing. Excuse me. We have to mount the thing. Oh, let's turn this thing off, shall we? I'll disconnect the battery. That'll turn it off. You can actually change the color of this one. This is green display. You can set it to whatever color you want in the settings. So we need our little standoffs here. Don't be too standoffish. There we go. So standoff, and then we've got super long screws and shorter ones. And so we're going to get the shorter ones, and we'll put that through there, and that through there, and that through there. These all look like M3 screws, very readily available. So if you lose any of these, they're pretty easy to get hold of other ones. I keep a very big supply of M3 screws around, because all of the 3D printing that I do, all the stuff that I model and create from scratch, I always do them with M3 sized screw holes, because I can just get hold of M3 screws in bulk for very, very cheap. So if you're ever getting hold of any of my models, whoops, you're going to be like, you're going to need some M3 screws. I'm in Hungary. Do you mean Hungary? Or are you telling me that you want some food? Oh, wow. It's very close to the resistor there. Alright, let's tighten this up some. Whoa. I've got a little sockety thing here which should fit the other side of that. Yes, it does. So I can get that nice and tight. Pretty tight. Oh, it's so tight. Need food. I've been trying to fix some bugs. Yeah, God, I'll tell you what, I need food. I haven't had breakfast and I am really starting to get ravenous. I don't want to eat too much though because I'm going out to dinner tonight. But I'm hungry. Right. So that goes... The next bit we will have... Oh man, that should have gone underneath. It still fits, that's alright. And then we'll put some walls. No, we put the little ones in next. So we've got to make all the holes line up. So that hole's going to line up with that hole there. And this one here, those two holes are going to line up with those two holes there. Yeah. And then we've got to somehow get this all to hold together. That's the open bit on the side. No, that side. Yeah, that's the open bit on the side for that. So that goes there. Yep, looking good. This one's pretty easy to assemble, I'm thinking. Did I not take the protector off? I don't think I took the protector off that little middle piece. Either that or it's discoloured over time. Yep. And then this one. Oh, come on, Mian. I don't know if there's an easier way to do this, but I need to try and get that little plastic piece to line up with the hole here. Insert slot A. Frangipani. There we go. I think we're there. There's no hole in this for this lead to come out. Obviously the battery's meant to be on the inside, but because there's no hole for the battery, I'm not going to put the battery in there yet. And there are a few reasons why I'm not going to put the battery in there. First of all, there's nothing to stop the battery from just bouncing around inside here and hitting those exposed pins, which will make the device be very unhappy. And so... Oh, come on. I'm going to have to bloody undo this, I think. Oh, you thing with a thing. See, I spoke too soon when I said this was easy. What does it, well, it's M, not N, it's M for Mary. M stands for metric. So M3 means metric 3, which means it's 3 millimeters. That's what the M stands for. So I was not enunciating properly. Beep, beep. Hello. Maybe this case is an IQ test and I'm just failing. Oh, it's getting harder as I go. I'm probably getting frustrated. Keep it together, Rain. Okay, so this side is definitely a little bit tricky because it's, yeah, okay. Yeah, we go. Okay. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Yeah. All right. The other side should be easier. The House of Moth, are you still here? I don't think he is. He does this all the time. He sneaks in, he says a few words, and then he nicks off again and pretends like he was here the whole time. It's like, you're not kidding anyone. Of course, the other thing he does do is he often does projects while he's watching. So he disappears from the chat. And then I go, Jay, are you there? And then all of a sudden he just reappears in the chat. I can ask him something if you want me to ask him something. This one that I'm using is $1.60 on AliExpress. Is that? Are you serious? Can't be. Whoopsie. I can't imagine how anyone will be able to do this for $1.60. Right. So next thing I'm going to do is tighten these up again because I loosened them. I'm going to try and do that without it falling apart. How about I tape it in the meantime? That'll do. That will do. Yeah, I would agree. It would be nice to make this rechargeable. Oh, crap, something just fell down. I don't even know what it was. So I had something in my lap and it fell down. Oh, screwdriver, that's what was in my lap and fell down. All right, we'll grab another screwdriver, I think. Okay, tight. 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 Does it, Enzo, does it come with the PVC case, the plastic case as well? Because some of them do not include the case. Oh, damn it. Now I can take the screen protector off. Try and keep my big fat fingers off it. Why is it not coming off? There we go. Love lifting those things off. Very satisfying. Yeah, snug fit. What firmware does this kit come with? You are asking a question that I will need to fire it up and have a look to answer, which will be done, but it will be done after I've screwed these 4 screws in. Whoops. $12.20 for everything. There you go. One of the reasons why I use Amazon links when I put this in, obviously by all means, if you want to buy one of these, definitely buy it from AliExpress if you would prefer. one of the reasons why I do use links to Amazon. I mean, one, obviously Amazon people are quite comfortable buying from Amazon, where I know some people are a bit thingy about buying things from AliExpress. But the other is that I have affiliate links with Amazon. So if people... I've spotted a slight design flaw. Yeah, that is definitely a design flaw. This knob, if you put it on there, you can't push it down anymore. So we won't be using that knob. The one that I have here, this one doesn't work either. Are they up at different? Yeah, they're different heights. Look at that. See the size of that one of the original? It's up nice and high. This one's quite small. So there's a thing. There's a bit of a fault in the kit. But anyhow, we can use this perfectly well without the knob on there. It just doesn't look as pretty. And I might 3D print something so I can fit on there. But yes, I have affiliate links with Amazon. So when people buy stuff, it doesn't cost them any more to use the affiliate links. But it just means I get a little bit if someone buys. That is all mentioned in the description. Okay, so, well, I think we're pretty good here. I would like to try and... let me see if I can find a transistor floating around here. We can try one of those, because I've got some capacitors here, but they're very short leads. We'll see if they fit in. Yes, I know it's not calibrated. I'll do that later when I've read the instructions. Okay. Testing. Capacitor. Oh. I may not have the pins in all the way. Let's try that again. Okay. I will calibrate it. I promise I will calibrate it, but the instructions for calibration there really weren't that good. So I want to... it keeps getting upset with me because I haven't calibrated it. And it's switched off. Maybe does not like that component. It could actually be a failed component because it is something that I've taken off something. It could be stuffed. Let's just find... there we go. Look at this. Got myself a big thing here. This looks like it's a transistor. Let's pop him in. Here we go. Okay, ready? Try this one. Right, there we go. NPN transistor with all the stuff there. It tells me which one is the base, which one is the collector, and which one is the emitter. And then all the information is there. So isn't that little nifty thing? So that's obviously its main party trick, the fact that it's a transistor tester. But it does, of course, do resistors, diodes, and capacitors as well. Let's try... you cannot tell me that I can't... that there are no capacitors within arm's reach. Here we go. These are weird capacitors. They're axials, but they're still capacitors. So let's just try one out. Yes, okay. Just going to keep telling me it needs calibrating, isn't it? This is a 220 microfarad. No, it doesn't like it. I'm going to have to do the calibration for another time, folks. But anyhow, there it is. There it is built. We've now got two. We've got one which is grubby and awful and disgusting and been around in my workshop for ages. And then we've got a nice sparkling clean new one. But ultimately they are more or less the same, other than the fact that this switch is too short. So pretty happy with that. Once again, this wasn't just a matter of doing a kit building. This is also letting people know what an incredibly useful little device this is. Look, Paul, I don't know. It might do induction. I don't have an inductor here to test with. Yeah, I don't. I sometimes just keep little circuit boards floating around. I can maybe find one on there. I've got a diode here. We can test a diode. Very quickly, doing a diode before I then sign off and go and get myself some lunchy munchies. Yep, knows it's a diode. It's showing which way is which, and there you go. So, isn't that nice? All right. Oh, crap. I just broke the diode and snapped it in off. It snapped him in off. I don't even know how I did that, but anyhow. Alrighty. Okay, well, I'm going to just zip over back here now. I'm going to say a big thank you to everyone for watching. I'm glad that you people that persevered and stuck right to the end. Thank you very much. I hope it was at least partially entertaining at times. I do have some more kits coming up, and as mentioned before, check in the description. I am going to, in a few moments, add links to the next 2 kits that I'll be working on. So if anyone wants to play along at home, they can sort of potentially order these kits as well. One of them is another testing device, as an oscilloscope, and the other one is a little game console-y type thing, which looks like it's be a bit of fun to play with once it's built. So once again, thank you to everyone. Thank you for joining. I am going to be continuing with the repair streams as well. And of course, I do have pre-recorded videos coming out soon, which have all sorts of stuff. I've got product reviews, I've got 3D print stuff, I've got repair stuff, I've got tutorial stuff, all this sort of stuff in the pipeline. So it's all coming. Oh, and ultrasonic cleaner stuff as well. So thanks for joining. Thanks for keeping me company while I did this. Thanks for keeping the chat lively and interesting. And I hope to see you at the next one. So I look for the little button that says end stream, and I say thank you to all. Bye-bye.